Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unboxed. I'm so glad that you are here with us today. Okay, what is the leader's responsibility? The last time that we were together, we discovered that the leader is responsible for the part they play in the relationship. Matter of fact, the fifth sign of emotional maturity is this right here: taking responsibility for the part that you play in the relationship. And I want us to take the next logical step from there, which is actually our sixth indicator. And the sixth sign of emotional maturity is this: taking responsibility for your own emotional being and destiny. Taking responsibility for your own emotional being and destiny. Stick around as we unbox your leadership and unbox relationships. I'm Dr. Robert Davis, family life educator and relationship coach. And welcome to Unboxed, a frank and straightforward conversation about relationships. We're going to talk about family, church, workplace, and all other types of relationships. Join me for the next few moments as we unbox the power and potential of relationships and help you to live your best life. All right, everyone. Again, welcome to Unbox. We're glad that you're here with us today. Do me a favor before we get started. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. That's right. Like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification button. Let your friends know about what we are doing here at Unbox. And if you're listening to this via podcast, then please check out our website. It's www.swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org. All right, let's jump right into this thing. Again, as I shared with you just a moment ago, the sixth sign is taking responsibility for your own emotional being and destiny. And let's take a moment and unbox what that means. As leaders, as parents, as pastors, too often we view our success by how well we can manage others. And I'm going to dig a little deeper into what I mean by that. The better others behave, parents, are you listening to me? The better our children behave, the better others behave or operate, the more we see ourselves as successful. No one brags about a drug addicted child, or no one brags about an unproductive worker. No, to the opposite. We actually complain about these things because to too many of us, our salvation, our sense rather of self worth is more often than not bound up in and dependent on the actions of others. I need to share that again. Too often, our salvation, our sense of self worth is bound up in and dependent on the actions of others. When our team is not cooperative, when our children or our church members or our team members attempt to sabotage our efforts, when they exhibit dysfunctional symptoms, and again, we've talked about symptoms before. Go back and listen to our previous broadcast in this series so that you can see what we talk about when we say symptoms. When our team members, when our children try to sabotage our efforts, or when they exhibit dysfunctional symptoms, we view their behavior as reflecting on us and our leadership. Therefore, our salvation, our sense of self worth is more often than not bound up in and dependent on the actions of others. And I'm going to pause for a second because I really want you to think about that. How much do I view, and I want you to think about it as a parent. Parents, listen closely now. And I want to talk a little bit specifically to my community because I come from a community that is the last bastion of spankings. And I'm going to say this right now, and I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I believe in spankings. I believe that spankings are part of a comprehensive overall discipline process. A comprehensive overall discipline process. I do not believe that every child needs to be spanked. That is not what I believe at all. I think there are many children who you can interact and work with and discipline without ever having to spank them, even when they misbehave or are disobedient. But I'm not going to get into spankings today. But one of the things that I've noticed, and I'm talking to my people for a second here, my African American people, I've noticed that oftentimes in anger and frustration, we reach out and lash out and spank our children. It is seen as a way to control them. And that is because our salvation, our sense of self worth is bound up in and dependent on their actions. Now, Dr. Edwin Friedman, you've heard me mention him before, he captures this in his allegorical essay called An Interview with the First Family Counselor. You got to check that out. An Interview with the First Family Counselor. In this essay, Dr. Friedman is interviewing the devil about his attempts to prevent people from becoming emotionally mature, especially parents, leaders, and therapists. And this is what he said. I'm going to put it up on the screen so you can see it. Here's the interviewer. Interviewer, what is your most effective strategy to keep leaders from being effective? The devil. I do to leaders what I do to parents. I keep parents all focused on the child instead of on themselves, getting caught up in issues like what's the right method, who's got the best statistical data, what's the right proportion of leniency and strictness. Here's the supervisor. Sounds like counselors, therapists, and various types of life coaches. The devil, yes, they're congruent. In all events, by keeping parents and counselors focused on the child, particularly on symptoms, I help them avoid the essential position at the beginning of a mature philosophy of parenting and of leadership. Interviewer, and that is that here's the devil, that the children who are doing best in this world, and by best, I don't necessarily mean the highest grades or the most awards, but rather those who are working through the natural struggles of growing and being with the least amount of reactivity towards others. The children who are doing best in this world are those whose parents made them least important to their own salvation. There are the parents who made them least important to their own salvation. Let me go back to the Serenity Prayer 2.0 because I think this is very apropos at this time. And what does it say? Lord, grant me the serenity to accept I cannot change people, courage to change the only person I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This is really the only thing we can control. How well we take responsibility for our emotional being and destiny. Instead of trying to control others and get others to do right, how well can I be in control of my own emotional being and in control of my own emotional destiny? The question is not how will I manage a disruptive child or how will I manage a disruptive team member? The question is actually, how will I manage myself when interacting with a disruptive child? How will I manage myself when interacting with a disruptive team member? If rumors or conflict is brewing between team members, how well will I function? If I'm annoyed by the lack of productivity in a team member, how well am I going to function? How well am I going to manage myself? If my child is belligerent, disobedient, and all those things, how well am I going to manage myself? I want to refer back to a quote that I shared with you the other day, and that is the emotional maturity and functioning of the leader is a more important goal than specific administrative solutions or improved managerial techniques, no matter what the type of organization and no matter what the type of child. This is important for two reasons. A leader who focuses on his or her own functioning diminishes the importance of becoming an expert in managing people and their specific symptoms. And number two, the principle of paying close attention to your own functioning transcends culture or organizations. If I can focus on me, I know that as you are listening to this broadcast, the first thing you're thinking is this right here. What will happen if I just let my child or if I just let my team member do whatever they want? And that's not what I am suggesting. But I want to ask you a deeper question. And here's the real question. What will happen to you if you make their behavior your responsibility? Not what will happen if they misbehave or if they, but what will happen to me if I make their behavior my responsibility? I'm not going to give you any more because I know that you can't handle anymore. I gave you an awful lot today. So I'm gonna leave it right there. Here's your assignment. Okay, you ready for your assignment? Think about what it would mean for you to only be responsible for your own emotional being and destiny. We truly, my friends, can unbox our leadership by unboxing relationships. Take care.
Seasoned with Grace, Unboxed also provides healthy relationship training and leadership development for businesses, churches, and community organizations. For a free consultation to discuss your team's needs, please contact us at our website at swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org.